I still struggle to open these videos well, but hello, welcome. I don't remember that being over there. It's been a minute since I've recorded one of these. I was very busy. Oh, I was very busy last week, and this week my voice is kind of hurt. But it's Saturday morning. I don't usually record these in the morning. I usually record them sort of after stream in the afternoon. So this is kind of unusual. My voice might be a little extra crunchy as well for this, but I'm gonna do a little more exploring. I was gonna go that way, but there seems to be some hostility happening over there, so I'll go this way. And I kind of didn't exactly decide what to talk about today because I was planning to do a video where I talk about some of my favorite games. I thought that would be fun, but I think I'm gonna what is that? I think I'm gonna hold off on that one till maybe next time. And this time I think I'm gonna talk about just what's been on my mind lately, which is plants. Which is plants. I can't stop thinking about plants. Plants and gardening and all of that. Recently I've been working on my new model for stream, and that requires a proper background noise. And so for the most part that has been Prime pays, but Botany doesn't. Just sort of endlessly. I highly recommend the channel. It's very fun and educational, but it's also very inspiring. It makes me want to go out and look at plants and collect seeds and grow stuff and all that. It's not the season now for seed collecting, but when it is, I'm gonna be out there. I'm gonna be going out and looking at everything that I got around and grabbing seeds and trying to grow them, and then I don't know what, but it's been very fun to watch and to learn from, and very inspiring, which is cool. I think it's just because it's spring also, and I've got plants growing outside. What I can grow on my little apartment patio thing. I've got some tomatoes. Last year I tried to grow tomatoes and they didn't do so well. They didn't come out so great. Mostly they didn't pollinate, they didn't produce very much fruit. Even though they grew really big and they bloomed a lot, they didn't really end up doing much. And then once the tomatoes it did have, they took forever to ripen. It just didn't quite work out, but those ones I had started the seeds really poorly anyway. I had started them in a really shallow little tray and then didn't get them enough light and didn't get them a deeper container for way too long, and so they were off to a bad start anyway, and I should be surprised they did as well as they did as plants, even if I didn't get fruit out of them. But this time I started them very nicely. They've got a much better start, and they're doing good. And this year I'm also trying to grow beans and peas for the first time, so that should be pretty cool. Peas to eat fresh out of the pod, and beans to dry and then cook, you know. But hopefully those turn out. I don't know. I've heard that beans don't grow well for the first time necessarily in places where you haven't grown beans before, and I don't know how well that will apply to containers. I'm growing them in buckets from Walmart, uh, and they're in fresh potting soil, so I don't know. We'll see. Something that I want to find out and do for next year probably is find a better source of dirt. I'm used to just buying, you know, bagged potting soil, but I feel like there's probably a better solution to that out there somewhere. I don't know what I'm hoping to find out here, by the way. Overall, I've been feeling a lot lately like I just want to be more involved in like actual life and in reality and not just being sort of at the computer or online all the time. I wanna be doing stuff more. And I don't necessarily have a practical sort of thing that means, you know, I don't know what that would entail for me other than, you know, I go for a walk ideally every week, but lately it's really turned into just every other week. Ideally I'd like to be going every week on my day off from stream, but sometimes it just doesn't work out that way. But in addition to all that, uh watching Crime Phase has gotten me wanting to learn more about plants again, which is something I've kind of always wanted, or at least wanted for a long time. I mean, I think I can say always. I grew up, you know, appreciating plants and wishing to garden and all that. I'm not strong enough to fight these guys. But if I can sneak in, if I can sneak in and get something, that'd be nice. It'd be cool to steal this place. They're not doing anything good with it. But anyway, I was wanting to learn more about plants, and a while ago, I started reading, I think it's called Raven Biology of Plants. I don't know why it's called that. I don't know where the Raven part comes in, because that's not the name of the authors. I don't know. But I started reading that probably over a year ago, and fell off of it because the standard way to teach botany, it seems, or to teach probably any form of biology, is to start with molecular biology and move up to cellular biology and then actually go into real, tangible, perceptible things that people would be familiar with, and that seems so backwards to me. Maybe that's just me. I'm sure some people do really enjoy molecular and cellular biology and stuff, but I'm not one of them. And I feel like it makes so much more sense to start from a point of things that are actually tangible and recognizable in the world to get people started and more interested in this kind of stuff, and then step into the more abstract ideas that make up cellular level structures and whatnot, because those things are so distant and so abstracted from like things you can actually see and appreciate in the world around you. It just seems like it would make more sense to start with things that are recognizable and learn more about those and learn to appreciate them for what they are, and then learn more about the things that make them up and the structures that they are built by, you know, start from a recognizable point and then go from there. And I guess this is a me problem because these are textbooks made for like I guess college courses where you know, it's people who are presumably here just to learn about this thing. They're probably in a degree program for it, and so they're looking to, oh dear, they're looking to give them the right foundation to, oh dear, looking to give them the right foundation and build up their knowledge piece by piece from the beginning so that they have that clarity. But But from the perspective of someone like me who's just learning this for fun, or from the perspective of anybody who would happen to be in one of those classes and faced with one of these textbooks who doesn't already care about the topic, it just doesn't make sense. And it does also make sense from the point of view of if you start from the very smallest elements and then you can build up to, individual plants and their structures and then ecologies and ecosystems, that kind of thing, sort of bit by bit, and it just expanding to the greatest scale from the smallest scale. And if you don't start with cellular, molecular, whatever, then you have to kind of manage when to backtrack, I guess, and how to go from just like a plant or something. I don't think that starting on the largest scale would be the right move either. I don't think that starting from ecology on its own makes sense. So that's all to say that I started reading that and then I never got past the first 2 chapters because I was bored, and I guess I could just skip them and come back at some point. But my brain feels the compulsion to go through the whole thing thoroughly from front to back, even if I disagree with the structure personally. I still feel like I have to go through it all. But I tried to pick it back up again recently. I may or may not stick with it. I really wish I had a print copy. It's really impractical to want a print copy of a textbook. I have it on my e-reader, but it's really inconvenient to read on my e-reader, and I also, for some reason, do way better with reading on paper, just in terms of understanding and retaining what I read. And I wish that was not the case because my e-reader is very convenient, especially in this case where it's an expensive, gigantic textbook. Like you can't get them used. You can't get used copies of them. I found one that was like $25, but I still don't want to pay for that. But I'm gonna try. I don't know. I picked it up again and then I put it aside again to read a different educational plant book that's much smaller, much more approachable. So that's what I have going for now. I also want to learn more about taxonomy. I don't know how much the Raven biology of plants will get into that. I'm sure it's part of it, but I want to be able to identify plants I see around me. I've always wanted to be able to do that, but I'm at least kind of working on it now. I'm very slowly chipping away at figuring out how to learn that. Something else that bugs me about this textbook. Okay. The last at least three or four editions of the book, they have on the cover like impressionist painting. It's a different one on each one, and it's really zoomed in. It just shows plants. It's just a little crop of impressionist plants. It's very nice. And then on the most recent edition, or at least the most recent edition that I've seen, they replaced that with a top-down overhead view of a sidewalk surrounded by turf grass and nothing else. That's the whole cover. That's the entire image. That's the whole cover. And I don't know if that's supposed to be some kind of commentary. I don't know what the intent behind this is, but that is the least inspiring, most I don't know what the goal was, and I know that again, this is a college textbook. People don't buy it for the cover. People don't choose to read this. Usually, they get assigned it. But again, I'm imagining the person who doesn't already find plants and things exciting, and they get faced with sidewalk and turf grass on the cover, and why? That's not gonna do any good to anybody. And I don't know, maybe it's supposed to be commentary on the state of the world, know the kind of plants we find important for stupid reasons. I don't know. I don't know, but it irks me immensely. At least if I was to grab a used physical copy of it, it would not be the most recent edition, so I wouldn't have to stare at that cover. Is that a village? Is it? Let's go find out. That's a bit of what I've been up to. I'm also reading The Garden Against Time, which has continued to be really fun. It deals with a lot of different things that relate to gardens and sort of the power dynamics that have been involved in gardening over time and different ways of viewing land and the quote-unquote improvement of land. It's cool because it's the author's experiences in her own garden interwoven with these different historical perspectives and stuff, which I've been enjoying. And of course all this makes me wish I could do more gardening, but I enjoy the gardening that I do. The other day I stopped by a plant nursery that I hadn't been to before nearby. Ow. Ow. And it was very nice. It was very nice, and it was all in bloom. Everything was so lush. They had so many plants. It was really cool. It was a good time. And it made me want to spend more time surrounded by plants and stuff. I don't know why I say and stuff, just plants. That's what I've been thinking about. Like I said, I was gonna talk about my favorite games, but lately I've been thinking about plants. I've been thinking about gardens. So I thought I'd yap about that a little bit, about my textbook. My textbook troubles. Well, next time I'll wander home or keep wandering this way. I don't know. This direction has had a lot more going on than the previous venturings I tried to go on. So we'll see. I got potatoes now, so that's cool. And maybe next time I will talk about some of my favorite games or something else. I don't know. But I hope you enjoyed this little ramble. And I hope you have a good rest of your day, or if you don't, I hope that it'll be a better one next time. I don't know. I don't know how to open these videos, and I don't know how to end them either. But I hope you enjoyed it. And leave a like if you did enjoy it. There we go. And tell me tell me about a plant you like in the comments. Yeah. Yeah, tell me about plants you appreciate. Hold on, I should have one too. I at the nursery I got a maidenhair fern. I've always really liked those. So I think that's my pick for today, the maidenhair fern. They're really pretty if you haven't seen them before. Very, very delicate little fern, very, very cute and lovely. That's my pick. Let me know yours in the comments. And yeah, have a good one. Bye. So that's all the water.